Now at 6, we'll hear from Crawford County health officials about administering shots for young kids. Plus, in today's KOAM News Now Insta poll, we want to hear if anything would convince you to get your child the COVID-19 vaccine. And in a meeting of two of the best teams in the MIAA, Pitt State prepares to welcome in Washburn.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Crawford County is ready for parents and guardians looking to get their 5 to 11-year-old kids vaccinated against the coronavirus. This is KOAM News at 6. According to the KDHE's vaccination tracker, a little under 54% of the total Kansas population has received at least one dose of a COVID vaccine. But the Crawford County Health Department director thinks those numbers will continue to rise, especially with all the phone calls her department has gotten recently about getting kids vaccinated. Now that the CDC has signed off on Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for 5 to 11-year-olds, the Crawford County Health Department will hold its first walk-in vaccination clinic for that age group tomorrow afternoon from 2 to 4. The department's director says this is another crucial step to overcoming the pandemic.
I think it's definitely a key component, especially for the younger ones. Our numbers have been higher in the elementary schools in some of the school districts, so this will definitely be a major advancement.
The Crawford County Health Department will also hold a second walk-in vaccination clinic for kids ages 5 to 11 on Monday from 2 to 6 p.m. This one aims to offer Crawford County parents and guardians more after-school hours options. The Joplin Health Department will not be offering shots for 5 to 11-year-olds. The emergency authorization covers only the Pfizer vaccine, and the Joplin Health Department administers only the Moderna vaccine. Now, today's KOAM News Now Insta poll question. We're asking, would anything convince you to get a COVID-19 vaccine for your 5 to 11-year-old child? Your options are no, nothing would convince you. Maybe you need more information, or you're already convinced. You can participate in the poll at koamnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we'll check in on the numbers a little bit later. U.S. Senator Jerry Moran is calling on President Biden to eliminate a proposed vaccine mandate for businesses. This week, the U.S. Labor Department is expected to release the final rules for that requirement, impacting more than 80 million workers. Under the rules, employers with 100 or more employees would have to require COVID-19 vaccination or testing.
Great opportunities for employment today, but too many people are making the decision that they cannot, because of the mandate, continue to work. The consequences in Kansas are really damaging.
Kansas Governor Laura Kelly has suggested that mandates like the one proposed by the president won't work. She says that Kansas has focused on encouraging people to get vaccinated instead of trying mandates. Local health departments are reporting more COVID-19 deaths. In Jasper County, a man in his 40s died with the virus. His death brings the county's total to 236. And in Neosho County, Kansas, county health officials report 3 more deaths. That brings that county's total to 51. Doug Heddy joins us now with a first look at the weather.
Hey Dal, it actually turned out to be a pretty good day for us today. A cold start. We had a pretty good freeze, especially on the Missouri side, as most of us dropped back to about 30, 31 degrees. But it's actually turned out to be a nice day. We got some upper level clouds, which have been streaming through, but most of the Central Plains look pretty good. So we're quiet after a little bit of rain for us on Tuesday into Wednesday. Temps right now, we're sitting into low to mid 50s. We're going to have a slow drop as we go back through the evening hours. Still kind of a cold night, but I do think we'll stay above freezing. We're going to slide back through the 50s, 40s into the 30s. Overnight lows mid 30s, so it's going to be frosty once again for us during the overnight hours. But again, I think most of us will stay above that freezing mark, which is always good news. Of course, we're going to look into the weekend here in just a bit.
See you then. A Newton County jury convicts a Neosho man accused of stealing a police cruiser. Authorities say 37-year-old Jason Hurst was in police custody for trespassing. While the officers were tending to another subject, He slipped out of his handcuffs, crawled into the front seat of the cruiser, and drove off. Police chased after and caught him when this happened. He flipped the car. Hurst was found guilty of tampering with a motor vehicle and resisting arrest. A Moundville, Missouri man is dead after a crash near Joplin. The Missouri Highway Patrol says Daryl Shoemaker was driving on 66, 2 miles west of Joplin, when he tried to cross the westbound lanes and was hit by another car. Shoemaker died at the scene. The driver of the other car was taken to Freeman Hospital with moderate injuries. 3 people are suing Oklahoma County Jail employees who investigators found forced them to stand handcuffed for hours and listen to the children's song Baby Shark on repeat. Attorneys for 3 former inmates filed a civil rights lawsuit this week in Oklahoma City federal court. They described the tactics as, quote, torture events. A criminal investigation last year determined at least 4 inmates were secured to a wall with their hands cuffed behind them while the song played on a loop at a loud volume for hours in 2 separate incidents in November and December of 2019. A jury trial in that criminal case is set for February. Still ahead, the big reason behind a closure of Joplin's Main Street, part of it anyway, and preschoolers get a lesson in tricycle safety in Columbus, Kansas. Joplin's Main Street was closed today between 4th and 7th Streets because it's really hard to drive around a crane this big. That's right, a crane was obstructing traffic. The city used the crane to untangle the American flag on the roof of City Hall and fix the pole that flies the Missouri flag.
Several years ago, the rope had broken on the state flag pole, so this was an opportunity for us to go ahead and restring it. And while we were up there, we went ahead and put all new ropes into all the flag poles.
All's well that ends well. The crane is gone, Old Glory is flying free, and Main Street is reopened for traffic. Students in McDonald County today learned what it's like to operate heavy equipment, like say, massive traffic obstructing cranes, for example. Nab Holtz Construction brought a skid steer simulator to the high school so kids could get safe, hands-on experience with the equipment.
Being an ag teacher and with our ag department and in the shop and everything, a lot of hands-on opportunities. And this is a great place to show that section of kids and even all the kids that you don't necessarily have to go get a bachelor's or you don't have to have a 4-year degree to make an impact in the world.
Equipment like the simulator is used to give construction crews experience before they have to handle the real thing. Some brand new drivers are getting ready to hit the road, not in cars, but on tricycles. Preschoolers at Park Elementary in Columbus, Kansas have been learning tricycle safety and held a trike-a-thon today to test those skills. And it was all for a good cause as the class raised money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
And learn how to ride a tricycle, and then they go out and get donations. All the donations I send off to St. Jude. Last year we raised almost $10,000, which is awesome. I don't think we'll get that high this year, but I can always hope.
Teacher has hosted trike-a-thons for several years and has now raised more than $100,000 for St. Jude. Way to go. Later, Pitt State football will look to do something they haven't done much in the past decade, beat Washburn.
Plus another cold night for us tonight. When are we going to start to warm up? We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a pretty good day for us today. After a very cold start, we had a hard freeze during the morning hours. Temperatures right around 30, and we're going to frost up once again for us tonight as we drop back into the mid-30s for overnight lows. But we are going to start to warm things back up the next few days, which is good. We're going to set up to see a really nice weekend on tap. Saturday and Sunday, temperatures are going to be fantastic. Tonight, at 10, we're going to do the month-long forecast for the month of November, so we'll go through Thanksgiving into early December. And of course, you can always get my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. All right, look at our lows during the morning hours. On the Missouri side, about 30 to 31 degrees. So a hard freeze. It wasn't quite as cold once you got into our western counties, but a nice warm up through the 30s, 40s, most of us mid 50s for us today. We're still 51 in Nevada, Aurora 53, 52 in Knoll. Calmer sitting at 54, Pittsburg 53, Yates Center much of the same at about 53 degrees, but we'll slide back into the 30s a little bit later on tonight. Look how southerly winds are starting to pick up in our western counties. That's going to help our temperatures warm up as we go through the next few days. Looks good. We do have a lot of mid and upper level clouds. We are looking north from 7th and Rangeline, currently sitting at 53. Relative humidity is at about 59%, but there's nothing underneath the clouds. So we're going to have dry conditions as we go through the evening hours. These clouds will start to break up a bit after midnight tonight. Another cold night, mid-30s, so it is going to be frosty, but we're going to stay above that freezing level, which is good news, so we don't have to worry about a second freeze 2 nights in a row. These clouds are going to kind of skirt on through over the next few hours. Again, nothing underneath it. Most of the central plains look pretty good. And as we go out to the west, not a lot going on. This little system will stay across the northern parts of the plains. So we should have about 4 to 5 days of really nice weather as we go through the weekend into early next week. Let's break it down. Partly cloudy skies for us tonight. Mid-30s. We'll stop at 7:30 in the morning. As we go through the morning hours, we warm through the 30s, 40s. I think a little warmer for us tomorrow, maybe 4 to 5 degrees warmer than what we saw today. Start at 36, 54 by noon, high temp near 60. We'll have those south winds at about 5 to 10. Tomorrow evening, tomorrow night, another nice night. We drop back upper 30s by Saturday morning. Saturday looks great. We're going to go into the mid 60s. We're going to have plenty of sunshine, no complaints. Even Sunday looks pretty good. I think we'll press 70 by the time we head into Sunday afternoon. Even Monday looks pretty good, but on Monday you can see a little wind shift line here. This is a cold front. This slides in on Tuesday, giving us chances for showers. And as this front just kind of hangs out near us, we'll continue to have rain chances even into Wednesday and early Thursday as well. But until then, we're pretty quiet. 59 tomorrow, 65 Saturday, 70 on Sunday. Of course, the clocks go back 1 hour, roughly. It's supposed to be 2 a.m. Sunday morning, so early Sunday morning. And then temperatures look pretty good next week, even though we had those rain chances Tuesday and Wednesday.
I'm thinking Saturday looks like a day for fishing.
It looks really good. Nice fire pit night, too.
That sounds good, too. Thanks, Doug. Coming up in sports, the Carthage boys soccer team looks to earn a district title on their home field. And the Pitt State Gorillas aim to keep their playoff hopes alive in a big MIAA showdown with Washburn. We're going to hear from the Gorillas on Saturday's game after the break.
This weekend is one of the biggest games of the season for the Pittsburg State Gorillas. The Gorillas welcome in the Washburn Ichabods on Saturday. Now, both teams are 7-2 heading into Week 10. The winner of this one will keep their playoff hopes alive. The loser, not so much. So that's a motivating factor, but also Pitt State is motivated because they haven't really had great luck against Washburn in the last decade.
A bunch of older guys, including me, we've never beat Washburn since we've been here. We're really looking forward to this, and it also being the last game that we'll play in Carney Smith. That's also pretty big, but right now we're not really trying to focus on that.
They're very fundamental. They're very sound in what they do, and they've had our number for the last 10 years, or 3-7 in the last 10 years and lost the last 3 in a row. And some guys, that sit in our meeting rooms that have never beaten them. And so we got a football team here that's coming into town that is very good, and we got to be ready to play our best game.
The Pittsburg State men's basketball team hits the floor tonight against Kansas State in their second preseason exhibition game of the season. The Gorillas beat Avila last week by 5 in their exhibition opener. Tonight's game begins at 7 o'clock in Manhattan. Also on the floor tonight, the Missouri Southern women playing their first exhibition game on the road against Wichita State. That one already started with Wichita State up 15-7, 6 minutes in. We'll have the latest from both of those games tonight at 10. The Pittsburg State cross-country teams will be in Joplin on Saturday, running in the Central Regional Meet. And the Pitt State men are coming off their first ever MIAA Conference Championship. Now, at the league meet, It was an 8K race for the men. It will be a 10K race on Saturday at regionals, something the Gorilla men are actually looking forward to.
Coach Ben's been preparing us all year to go from 8K to 10K. We like to call that our office, so most people dread the 8 to 10K jump. We like to smile and think, we got 2 more K to chase you down and hunt you down, and so we're going to use it to our advantage. People are going to dread going to 10K, but we look forward to it. Like I said, when we see 8K, most people are thinking, man, I hope this race ends. We're thinking, we're just starting to wake up and come find you. We have guys that close really, really hard. And so we think that with the people that we have with just the mental toughness, that gorilla toughness, that adding that 2K is going to be a huge benefit to us just hunting people down the last 2K.
On the women's side, Pittsburg State is coming off a 3rd place finish at conference championships. Now, they head into the weekend ranked 7th in the region with the top 3 Saturday, earning an automatic trip to nationals. Now, the Gorillas are motivated to get into that top 3 after not quite finishing where they wanted to finish at the MIAA championships.
We're kind of disappointed in the result, especially in the girls team, but we're really, really ready, and I think we kind of like the feeling that we're underdogs. There's not really a lot of expectations for you when you're the underdog, so going into it, we're just excited to just kind of see what we can do with the other teams, and because I think we're ranked like 7th, I think, but we can see ourselves being top 3 for sure if we just make the right moves and we're smart with our racing strategy.
Finally, the Carthage High School boys soccer team has a shot at a district title tonight. Carthage hosts Kickapoo this evening in the Class 4 District 5 Championship. That one has already started with no score early. We'll have highlights from this one tonight at 10. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Oscar Percy served in the U.S. Navy. His hometown, Iola, Kansas. And we are proud to salute Oscar Percy. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 after football. We're going to have more on some area health providers receiving their supply of vaccines for young kids ahead of vaccination clinics. Also, what's being called a bright light during this nationwide supply chain challenge. More emphasis and demand on American-made products. And a New Zealand couple says a potato in their garden could be the largest in the world, in the history of the world. That and more tonight after Thursday Night Football, Fox 14. All right, now today's KOAM News Now Insta poll question. We're asking, would anything convince you to get a COVID-19 vaccine for your 5 to 11-year-old child? At this point, not many people waiting for more information. Pretty closely split between no and I'm already convinced. 59% though say, yeah, they're convinced already. You can participate in the poll at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. You do have plenty of time to participate. We're going to keep this poll open tonight, and we'll have the final results at the end of our 10 p.m. newscast. So you may think you've seen a big hole, but you haven't seen anything like this. Astronomers are trying to figure out how a hole that's 250 light years wide punched its way into the N44 nebula. How? I'm sure you've been asking this. Well, this glowing cloud of gas and dust is filled with stars of different ages, but look at that big hole of blackness the Hubble telescope discovered. Scientists call it a super bubble. They think it might have come from stellar winds, though wind velocities inside the bubble don't support that idea. Another theory is an exploding star carving it out, sort of like a cosmic cavern. And do not worry, you will not be tested over this later. It's fascinating, though, isn't it?
It is. It's crazy they can see that far.
Yes, yeah, it is. Back in time.
Yeah.
The weather.
Looks pretty good. Still kind of frosty for us tonight, but warming up the next few days. 59 tomorrow, 65 Saturday.
Final sports
So
note.
Washburn leads the MIAA in sacks. Pittsburg State has allowed the fewest sacks.
Wow.
We'll talk about that tonight at 10.
We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.